this morning, sun's a bit hazy. Checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, picking you up and ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
I think we should get this show on the road, guys. What do you think? Let's do this. Let's blow this lemonade stand. My name is Ron Tyler. I'm the president of Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina, guys. Welcome to our show tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. First off, the biggest thing today happened just about 6:30 p.m. last night. A 5.7 magnitude earthquake hit west central Nevada, near Silver Springs, Nevada. Now we've had, since then, that point in time, we've had over 135 earthquakes since 6:30 p.m. last night. Let's talk about this. Let's go to the map and show you where this is. Okay? I'm going to bring up the USGS map here. Just give me a second here. I'm going to take you here to the map right now. I'm going to take down our webcam for a minute. I'm also going to take down our EMA banner here. This is where the earthquake hit. Okay? Right here in Nevada, near Silver Springs, Nevada. Now, guys, this is a big deal. A great big deal. Okay? I'm not going to lie to you. Some people got scared last night, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, guys. What would happen? Let's just say this happened to you. You were anywhere between Fallon, Nevada, Indian Springs, Yarrington, Fallon, Carson City. What would happen? What do you think would happen, guys? Would you get scared? Would you be concerned? I think everybody would be. This was a 5.7 earthquake. Now I'm going to just back out here just a little bit. want to show you how widespread these earthquakes are. Look at this. Look how these widespread earthquakes are here. Look at this, all over this area. Now, these earthquakes go further east as well. Let's go over here. I want to show you this. Right here. Fallon Station. Fallon Naval Air Station, Nevada, right here. Fallon Naval Air Station, Nevada, right here. I've been there. I know exactly where that is. I was over here in 2005 when we did an earthquake drill. We did an earthquake drill as if a 7.2, 8.0 hit in Nevada. I was here in Fallon, Nevada on the request of Homeland Security. I was here monitoring the earthquake. This was a big earthquake, guys, on the Walker Lane Fault. On the Walker Lane Fault. Okay? Now, it could have been worse. Much, much worse. Much, much worse. This is 13 miles southwest of Fallon Station, Nevada. Okay? All the way out here. We just had another earthquake here. It just happened. This is a 3.1 earthquake here, 10 miles east-southeast of Silver Springs, Nevada. That just happened. Okay? Earthquakes are going to continue to happen for a very long time. Now, let me back this out here. I want to show you exactly what we have here. This lake here is Pyramid Lake. This is a volcano. This island here is the summit of the volcano. Okay? Now, there's a problem here. The Walker Lane Fault here runs from the south end of Pyramid Lake here all the way south here to the Gulf of California, the Walker Lane Fault. This is going to become an inland waterway here. At some point in time, this is going to become an inland waterway. Notice here in Imperial Valley here, just on the southern side of the Salton Sea here. This is a 1.6 tremor here. Just happened. Just barely happened. Also, we have a 1.2 tremor here near Nyland, California, just north of the Calipage Drift. There's usually anywhere from 75 to 150 earthquakes in this area every day. USGS is showing 2 earthquakes. That's a lie. There are hundreds more than that. Okay? But down here, even the Walker Lane Fault falls into play here. The Walker Lane Fault also intersects with the San Andreas Fault. Right here. Right here, guys. The Walker Lane Fault intersects with the San Andreas Fault right here. From here, it goes north here along the California-Nevada border, all the way up here, guys, until we get to Pyramid Lake. Until we get to Pyramid Lake, guys. Okay? That's how this works. That's how this works. Okay? We're going to see this Walker Lane Fault come into play very, very soon. Let's talk about this. I think we need to talk about it. This is not going to end anytime soon. Right here, this is near Searles Valley, Garlock, California, Garlock Fault, California here. Just northwest, or actually northeast of Ridgecrest, right here. We go north here, long way north here, all the way up here into Pyramid Lake. All the way through this region, guys, is the Walker Lane Fault. Stretches hundreds of miles. Why is that important? I'll explain that in just a second. I'll explain that in just a second here. I want to show you this because it comes into play very importantly here. Again, a 5.7 magnitude earthquake struck west of Fallon, Nevada, near Silver Springs, Nevada last night, approximately 6:29 p.m. This earthquake occurred at a depth of roughly roughly 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. This earthquake was felt all across the region, all throughout the region. That's also important here. Very important to understand what's going on here. The earthquake is felt throughout this entire region here. Okay? They had reports of light to moderate shaking. Okay? Throughout this surrounding area. They had times when some people reported very strong shaking near the homes. Some of that shaking was in Fallon, Nevada. Some of that shaking was in California as well. They had shaking felt all the way into Sacramento, California. Guys. Okay? Some jolts were strong enough to shatter glass and scatter products along the floor of a grocery store in Fallon, Nevada. Yes, guys, this earthquake was strong enough to scatter groceries through a grocery store in Fallon, Nevada. A big deal right there. As I said, I lived in Fallon, Nevada for about a month during the time when we had an earthquake drill in Nevada in regards with a 8.0, 9.0 earthquake in this region. Still can happen. This kind of earthquake can still happen in this region. I'm going to explain that with the Navy map in just a minute. Okay? The jolts here in Nevada and in California were strong enough to shatter glass and scatter grocery product all over store floors. Okay? This area just 40 miles northeast of the state capital, Carson City, 400 miles northwest of Las Vegas. A woman named Trina Lowe, said she was sitting with one of her daughters as she did homework in her dining room when the quake hit. They said they could hear the rumbling. Now, I've talked to several people since then who also said rumbling can occur before an earthquake hits. They've heard it. Yes, that happens. Why? Because the plates and or the faults make noise. As the plates are grinding, and I'm serious like this, they're grinding. The plates are grinding together. The faults are grinding. That can be heard above ground in your homes or businesses or out on the street. You cannot hear that. Okay? But they heard that last night. You hear the rumbling just before it even hit. The shaking continued for about 1 minute, 60 seconds. Some of their cast iron kennel holders were knocked over. Enlo didn't see any cracks or damage to her home, but the shaking continued for about 60 seconds. Again, this is 12 miles southeast Silver Springs, Nevada. 5.7, very large earthquake. 5.5 to 5.9 are considered to be very large earthquakes. This is a 5.7. Okay? The depth of 5 to 6 miles, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Impact, strong and very strong shaking with light, moderate damage reported throughout the area. Now, also along the Walker Lane Fault, we had a magnitude 6.0 earthquake in Markleeville, California, in Antelope Valley. That happens. These kind of earthquakes happen, guys. They happen quite frequently. Now, let me show you this Antelope Valley quake here. This is in 2021, Antelope Valley. These quakes hit. This Antelope Valley quake was a 6.0 on the Richter scale. 6.0 earthquake, guys. That's a big deal. 6.0 earthquakes can cause damage, and they did cause damage all over the LA area. The Markley Fault, Antelope Valley Fault Zone is on the Walker Lane Fault. I want to stop for a moment and give Kenzo credit for giving us a $10 super chat. Kenzo, I'm giving you an EMA sticker on your super chat. I'm also giving you a thumbs up for that as well. We appreciate you help supporting this channel as much as all you guys do. We appreciate you guys helping support this channel greatly. God bless you for that. Let's get on with this report. Okay? Again, this happened in 2021, July 8th, middle of the summer. Okay? Near the town of Walker. And it's near the range front fault area. The shaking then was felt widely in the Reno-Carson corridor as far as San Francisco. US Highway 395 was temporarily closed to rock slides. When we reported this quake, I showed you highways on roadways on and around Highway 395, which is the old Highway 15 route. 395 was there before the Highway 15 went in. We showed you rocks on top of the roadway. Great big rocks from the top of the mountainsides rolled all the way down the mountain onto the roadway, putting great big huge fissures or cracks in the road. 6 points of earthquake. Okay? 2021. Now guys, almost 5 years later, we have a 5.7 earthquake on the Walker Lane Fault, this time in Nevada, near Silver Springs, Nevada. The Walker Lane Fault is alive and well. Walker Lane Fault is alive and well. Why? We're going to talk about this. Again, the Walker Lane Fault extends from Pyramid Lake to the north all the way down to the Gulf of California and Mexico. And at some point in time, that area is going to be an inland waterway. Now, as we know, earthquakes are going to happen, and they have happened. At some point in time, we're going to have so many earthquakes in this region that this area is going to pop. This whole area is going to pop, guys. Pop like a can. It's going to explode all the way down to the Gulf of California. It's going to become an inland waterway. I'm going to show you that map in a few minutes. I want to talk about some other things that are major points here before we get into that. Okay? Let's talk about this now. Okay? Now, before we go on, I want to play a soundbite from Fox News for you, okay, about the Hormuz Strait and Iran. This is important about what we're talking about today, okay? Sorry about that. Let me play this bit for you.
Safe light repair, safe light replace.
Hold on, guys. I can't let that go. If I let this commercial go, then I will get a copyright strike. I can't allow that to happen. I got something better. Hold on. Give me a second here.
Other companies might charge you over $500 for their system.
Here to Live Now from Fox, I'm Andy Mack. An extraordinary showdown in the Strait of Hormuz only gets more intense. Monday, President Trump said the American military has begun the blockade on ports in Iran as part of his effort to force Tehran to open that energy choke point. For more on this, let's go out to Caroline Elliott on Where We Stand.
While peace talks in Pakistan didn't deliver an end to the Iran war this weekend, President Trump says his phone's been ringing.
I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly.
What was the sticking point over? You said it was over nuclear.
It's over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran, you marking it down? Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
But President Trump is not backing down and vowed to use the U.S. military to block all Iranian ports around the country and in the Strait of Hormuz.
So now Iran is doing absolutely no business, and we're going to keep it that way very easily.
The president hopes it forces Tehran to accept a peace deal and open the Strait of Hormuz after Iran shut down access in late February.
What would matter is how much a blockade shut down of the whole world's production. A lot of it just depends how long does this go.
But on Monday, the head of the Iranian parliament said it would only make gas prices worse, saying, quote, soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas.
1/5 of the oil and gas the world needs to function is now stuck in the Strait of Hormuz.
The two sides remain open to a deal, and President Trump says the U.S. won't agree to anything that allows Iran to have a nuclear weapon. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, the key phrase there, and President Trump has responded to these Iranian threats as they say that all ports in the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman potentially targeted, taking aim at U.S. allies in that region. And President Trump on Truth Social posting this, threatening to sink any Iranian ship that tried to interfere with this blockade, saying, quote, warning, if any of these ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they will be immediately eliminated. So stark warning there from the president. Let's bring into the conversation maritime expert, Campbell University professor Sal Mercogliano. Sal, thank you so much for joining us. What can you tell us about this blockade that already blocked Strait of Hormuz? Where does it stand?
Thanks for having me, Andy. Yeah, it looks like the United States is countering the Iranian blockade. We've been waiting to see something along this line. And with the ceasefire breakdown in Islamabad, the United States is looking to have a piece of leverage, and this seems to be it. Specifically, what the United States has announced, and this came out from the U.S. Central Command and a notice to mariner, which is part of the official declaration, is all the ports in the Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, and Gulf of Oman that is Iranian are going to be blockaded. Now, this doesn't mean we're expecting to see U.S. Navy warships off every port. Instead, what the U.S. Navy has announced is they're going to be steaming in the Gulf of Oman and the Northern Arabian Sea, and they're going to identify and target any vessels coming out of Iranian ports. And what they specifically said is they'll either capture them, intercept them, or divert them into other ports.
How feasible is a blockade? Is it as simple as setting up a line of ships and saying they can't go through?
Well, I think the U.S. Navy has demonstrated their ability to target ships during the Venezuela operation. And now, 7 weeks in, the U.S. Navy has brought additional resources into the area. They have the Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group. They have a ship known as the USS Canley, which is a large expeditionary support base. The USS George Bush is heading down the South Atlantic. It's going to be coming around the southern tip of South America into the region. So the U.S. Navy has a lot of assets in place. But really the most important thing here is the U.S. is in the midst of a ceasefire with Iran. So that means a lot of the offensive capabilities that the U.S. had can now be shifted over to this mission, both aerial, fixed wing and rotor aircraft, also drones. And so there's a lot of resources the U.S. can bring to bear at this.
And you mentioned, and we talked about it early on in this conflict, talk about those fast ships, as President Trump alluding to this in his post on social media, talking about them, saying they've had the Iranian Navy laying at the bottom of the sea. We have not hit all of these small number of what they call fast attack ships because we do not consider them much of a threat. You mentioned Venezuela. We've seen some of those attacks, those bombings of vessels in the Caribbean with the President Trump kind of calling on some of those. How much of an impact are these fast attack ships? Or are they just more of a nuisance in this area?
They would be a serious threat inside the Strait of Hormuz, but one of the things that the Navy has announced is, again, they're going to be further out, and I think that gives them some distance away from these fast attack boats. But I would expect that the Navy, in addition to conducting this blockade, is also going to be conducting operations in and around the Strait. Remember, we had just a couple of days ago 2 U.S. destroyers, the Peterson and the Murphy, sail through that region. So we would expect to see U.S. operations continue in and around the Strait of Hormuz. They would be neutralizing any of these fast attack boats, but their focus now is going to be twofold: the blockade and those anti-mine operations in the Strait of Hormuz, because they're trying to free up those 800 trapped ships in the Persian Gulf.
Okay, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to free up the shipping through the Strait of Hormuz because Iran wanted to charge $1 million passage fee, a $1 million passage fee for every ship to go through the strait. The United States said absolutely not. That's why the United States set up the barricade, set up the blockade of the strait, because they were not going to allow Iran to get that much money or any money at all from any ships passing through the strait. They've also said they will intercept any ship that pays Iran a fee to go through the strait. They're not going to allow it to happen. Not at all. They're not going to allow Iran to make any money through any ship, from any ship passing through the Strait of Hormuz at all. Next, something else you need to know. China. China guys wanted to give Iran a bunch of shoulder-mounted anti-aircraft missiles. Shoulder-mounted anti-aircraft missiles to fire at the United States and Israel. That's the other issue here. Okay? China wanted to give those missiles to Iran. China's already shipped those missiles to Iran. Right now, China is very upset that we institute a blockade of any ships through the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to allow it. Not at all. Not in any kind. At any time, period. Trump said that maybe he would have to take over the strait and to keep it open without any ships having been extorted by Iran. The U.S. began enforcing a blockade of Iranian ports on Monday at 10 a.m. yesterday morning. President Trump ordered the blockade after peace talks with Tehran completely collapsed over the weekend. Now today, Tehran is begging to go back into peace talks. Today, because of the blockade, Tehran is begging to be part of the peace talks again, trying to negotiate with President Trump. They don't want the strait to be blocked. We also don't want to have China giving Iran any anti-aircraft missiles that are shoulder-mounted. Unreal. China wants to do that. Russia also wants to help Iran fight this war. We're not going to allow it to happen. Chinese are shipping Iran these shoulder-fired anti-aircraft guns. They don't want the strait blockaded at all. Russia doesn't want to blockade it. With a temporary ceasefire in place, the United States has ramped up military deployments and resorted to a targeted blockade of the strait. The Chinese are now saying this will only aggravate confrontation and escalate tension and undermine the already fragile ceasefire with the U.S. and Iran, and further jeopardize safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command has announced plans to enforce a blockade. The president is rightfully securing the Strait of Hormuz to ensure freedom of navigation for all ships traveling to non-Iranian ports, ending the Iranian extortion of the world. Again, ending the Iranian extortion of the world. They are applying pressure on Iran and its crumbling economy as big, beautiful tankers flow through the Gulf of America. Big, beautiful tankers are going into the Gulf of America to American ports to fill up with oil and gas to take back to their own individual countries. President Trump said they could do that. Okay? This is going to continue, guys. President Trump and his negotiating team have made the United States red lines very clear. They will never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates. And put that map back up here so you can see it. Right here. You can see the strait between the United Arab Emirates and Iran. The north side of the strait is Iran. And Iran has been controlling the Strait of Hormuz for years, about 50 years. That's going to end now. That has ended now. Okay? The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most critical entry checkpoints. It carries roughly 20 million barrels of oil a day. 20 million barrels of oil a day, along with 1/5 of global liquid natural gas. Iran has condemned the blockade as piracy. They also had told the United States that they want to continue to process atomic fuel to gain nuclear weapon capability. Again, President Trump and the United States have vowed never to allow that to happen. They vowed never to let Iran get a nuclear weapon again. They were within weeks, maybe a month from getting another nuclear weapon after they went in last October and destroyed Iran's nuclear capability. Iran came back and rebuilt it. Now it's laying beneath dozens of miles of dirt on top of it. We took several bunker busters from B-52 and B-2 bombers and took out their nuclear capability completely. Okay? Hopefully this ceasefire will continue and the United States will get Iran back on an even keel so their economy can go forward. Otherwise, as President Trump warned last weekend, we will take Iran back down to the Black Age, Ice Age. Okay? But right now, the United States Central Command is currently working on a way to keep the blockade up to make sure Iranian ports are Iranian ports and that's where they stay. Nobody goes in or out of the Strait of Hormuz until they can proceed without any further blockade by Iran at all. Okay? The Navy said they would restrict all maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz starting today, or starting last night. Okay? The Strait of Hormuz will stay closed to Iranian vessels. President Trump said, I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. Trump said recently, we've been called as early as this morning by the right people. The appropriate people want to work a deal now. That's because we forced them to be there. The United States has forced them to be there. Now, I want to go back and talk to you about what's happened with our earthquakes last night in Nevada. Let's go back and talk about that. Okay? Now, this earthquake last night again was on the Walker Lane Fault. The Walker Lane Fault is a fault zone extending from Pyramid Lake to the north all the way down to the Gulf of California in the south, all the way down through the east central part of California, western side of Nevada. Again, this is going to be, guys, I can tell you that. At some point in time, it's going to be an inland waterway. An inland waterway, as you can see here. Okay? The U.S. Navy map shows California, Nevada, parts of Arizona, going up into, let me zoom in here for you for a second. Nevada, Utah, even parts of Idaho, parts of Colorado were part of the inland waterway. Now, guys, if you look closely at California, there will be islands in the middle of California here. But this area is going to be, again, underwater. Underwater. The whole area between the Gulf of California and Pyramid Lake is going to be a waterway, which is going to mean we're going to have a lot of earthquakes along the Walker Lake Fault to open up that waterway. There's going to be a heck of a lot of earthquakes to open up that waterway. Okay? It can't be done with a 6.0. It can't be done with a 5.7. We're going to have a lot of earthquakes here in the near future. Okay? I don't know when they're going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but I know they're going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, I never would have imagined how quickly our world was changing. Our lives are in a constant state of flux. The political situations aside, we've had recently especially, our Earth is rapidly changing. Between the increase in bizarre weather we have had, bizarre weather from heavy rain, snow, warm temperatures, and heavy rain again. Still happening. And very warm temperatures today on the East Coast as well. 85-degree temperatures here on the East Coast. Unreal. Here on the East Coast, we are in the middle of a drought. Okay? But between the recent increase of bizarre weather and the weather patterns hitting the Earth, and recent major volcanic activity, now more than ever, our focus is on our planet's future. In the early 1980s, spiritual visionaries and futurists provided clues to our changing planet. Now, guys, I don't necessarily agree with these futurists, these visionaries, or spiritual people here. I myself am a spiritual person, but I have not had any visions about these waterways or anything else happening. I haven't had that. But some of these people have been so dismissed as crazy people, crazy prophets. Their thoughts for a new world were quickly ignored and even laughed at. Gordon Michael Scallion, you may have heard of, who was a futurist, a teacher of consciousness studies, metaphysics, and spiritual visionary. In the 1980s, Gordon Michael Scallion said he claims to have had a spiritual awakening to help him create a very detailed map of the future world. I'm showing that to you here. I'm showing this map today here on this program. It's called the U.S. Navy map. Okay? He created this. The result, while not based on any science, nonetheless provides a vivid and compelling picture of Earth ravaged by flooding. Gordon Michael Scallion believed that a pole shift would stem from a global warming pattern, nuclear activity, and misuse of technology. Another theorist you may have heard of is psychic Edgar Cayce. Edgar Cayce predicted 16-20-degree shift, while Scallion predicted a 20 to 45-degree shift. Scallion predicted that. Cayce predicted that when both Mount Etna volcano in Italy and Mount Pelée in Martinique erupt together, then and only then would there be maybe 90 days to evacuate the West Coast before massive flooding claims the West Coast of California. Yeah. If Mount Etna and Mount Pelée in Martinique erupt together, then we might have only 90 days to evacuate our U.S. West Coast before massive floods claim the coastline. Okay? Probably one of the most compelling arguments is that either an asteroid or a comet collision with Earth could cause an entire planet shift like that. Okay? Now, according to a NASA report, many doomsday theorists have tried to take this natural geological occurrence and suggest that it could lead to Earth's destruction. But there would be dramatic effects. There would be dramatic effects. The answer is this. The geological fossil records we have from hundreds of past magnetic polarity reversals seem to be no. No. There's not going to be a pole shift like that. There is nothing in millions of years of geological records to suggest that any of the doomsday scenarios connected to polar reversal should be even taken seriously. I pretty much stood by that as well. Okay? I recently spent a day with the National Propulsion Laboratory's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena scientists online. Okay? They have what they call the NEOWISE mission. The NEOWISE mission has become the official asteroid hunter. The NEOWISE mission has become the asteroid hunter that NASA has in place. Let me bring up that image right now for you. This is the mission control room at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. Okay, this is it. This is where NASA is monitoring comets and asteroids all throughout space that might hit this world of ours. They're looking at it. They're very seriously looking at it, guys. Now, could this happen? Yes, it could. I've done enough research on this during the past 6 or 7 years to understand, yes, this could happen. Okay? I've been monitoring comets. I've been monitoring asteroids for many years since I was in high school. No, I'm not a scientist at all, but I've been keeping track as well. Okay? NASA's created Asteroid Watch website with detailed listings of discovered objects as well as detailed impact risk charts, which lists the year 2020 as the earliest increased activity risk. 2020 is now past, 6 years, but the risk still exists. During the Obama administration, plans were developed for NASA to launch a robotic probe in 2021 to near-Earth asteroid. The current target is 1,300-foot wide, 400-meter wide rock called 2008 EV5, I'm sorry. That asteroid has been landed on and has now returned from space. Okay? John Holden said at that time, when that space probe lands on the asteroid, the spacecraft will pluck a boulder off its surface, then fly along with the space rock for a while, investigating the potential of a deflection strategy known as the enhanced gravity tractor that you may have seen on movies, where one of the NASA spacecraft smashes into an asteroid, forces the asteroid off its planetary journey and out in space somewhere else. They said they've said as of this year, they have successfully done that. Okay? The probe that they launched, 2008 EV5, arrived at the asteroid, went along with it for a while, has now returned to Earth. Okay? Now, they hope at some point in time that asteroid will be put in orbit around the moon. Astronauts aboard NASA's Orion space capsule will possibly visit the rock in mid-2020s. That's what they hope. Now, while smaller asteroids do damage on a local scale, We've seen an asteroid several years ago, that hit Russia. Experts think that space rocks must be at least 0.6 miles wide to threaten human civilization. NASA scientists estimate that they may have found at least 90% of these enormous near-Earth orbit asteroids, and none of them pose a threat to the future so far. Okay? Now, I spoke with Professor Donald L. Turcotte, who is an expert in planetary geology at the University of California, Davis, Earth Planetary Sciences Department. He told me that the predictions of earthquakes cause a planetary shift, and coastal flooding is for the most part nonsense. However, he did tell me it's far more likely that an asteroid will hit and cause a polar shift. This could ultimately lead to a cataclysmic change and a map similar to Scalion's original vision that I had here just a few minutes ago could happen. Now, with all this knowledge and future mapping of the world's financial leaders, do they know something? Possibly. Consider how many of the richest families around this world have been grabbing up massive amounts of farmland around the world. We know by far that Bill Gates now is one of the largest landholders here in the United States. Bill Gates. Most of us can't stand the ground he walks on. Okay? All property is far away from coastal areas. All that property is far away from coastal areas. However, it's farmland. They gobble up farmland, guys. Farmland that is conducive to self-survival, farming and coal mining. Now, that land appears to be in dry territories of the United States, such as Montana, New Mexico, and Wyoming, and even Texas. All those are very popular regions for these wealthy individuals. Billionaires such as Bill Malone, John Malone, currently the largest landowner in America. He owns 2,200,000 acres, including Wyoming and Colorado. Ted Turner, guys, he owns 2 million acres in Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, and North Dakota. Philip Anschutz, he owns 434,000 acres in Wyoming. Amazon's Jeff Bezos, you heard of him? He owns 400,000 acres in Texas. Stan Kroenke owns 225,162 acres in Montana. All these billionaires have amassed major land. Upon further research, though, many billionaires are preparing for future escape. Future escape with plans for vacation homes in remote locations. Many of them also have their private planes ready to depart at a moment's notice. Isn't that something? These billionaires want to depart this planet, wherever they're at, and go someplace else when something happens. Billionaire Bill Gates, I spoke of just a minute ago. He recently acquired 28,000 acres in Arizona to create his own city called Belmont, Arizona. According to the company announcement, Belmont will create a forward-thinking community with communication infrastructure that embraces cutting-edge technology, designed to high-speed digital networks, data centers, and new manufacturing technologies and distribution models, autonomous vehicles, and autonomous logistics hubs. His company details the plans, including 3,800 acres for an office. 3,800 acres for an office. Commercial and retail space. 470 acres for public schools. There are plans for 80,000 residential units. Belmont, Arizona, they say, will transform raw, blank land into a futuristic city, built around flexible infrastructure models. They've now got They now have a company called Belmont properties. Even a wealthy member of the Mormon Church, David Hall, reportedly has plans for a 20,000 person self-sustained community throughout the country, including the first in Vermont, with a recent 900-acre farmland purchase. The communities have been called New Vistas, but local opposition killed the development plans. Internationally, these billionaire moguls in Australia and New Zealand have been snapping up farmland at record paces. Their interest is in cattle, dairy, and agricultural farms. They're proving tempting for self-sustained survival communities. But more importantly, the wealthy are prepared for a safe escape havens, stockpiling real estate in dry areas, moving away from the old school approach of storing water and food. Money and precious metals will be useless. They will become useless as self-sustained territory will become the new necessary luxury. Many of these billionaires have installed helipads on their properties for easy access. Many are building up silos, buying and building up silos, bunkers around the world. So in the event of a post-asteroid apocalypse, where are the safest territories in the world? According to several prognosticators and much criticized theorists, the West have predicted land changes based on geological positioning on the Navy map. All polar shift predictions are based on theories from Gordon Michael Skellion, Edgar Casey, and others. My contact at JPL says these people should not be construed anything as fact at all. They said these people cannot be construed as fact at all. Okay? That's what JPL says. That remains to be seen, doesn't it? That remains to be seen. Demon Catman says he's 334 years old. Wow. Demon Catman, I feel privileged to know you. 334 years old. That's something. Does anybody have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? I want to go back to the USGS map for a few minutes. I want to talk about other earthquakes as well. Okay? I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down our webcam as well. Again, the biggest earthquake we want to talk about today is over in Nevada. Okay? A 5.7 earthquake hit about 6:30 last night. Now we have over 135 earthquake aftershocks. Over 135 aftershocks. Okay? Now we are about 45 minutes from a 24-hour anniversary of that earthquake. Some of those aftershocks are going to disappear after the earthquake hits. Earthquake time 6:30 hits tonight, Eastern Time. Okay? But this is not Eastern Time. That is 6:30 Pacific Time. 6:30 Pacific Time, guys. We still have ways to go. Now let's go down to the USGS map here. Let's talk. Let's talk Turkey here. Okay? Let's back out of here. One of the things that I've been concerned with today is down here in southern Mexico right here. We've had numerous earthquakes here. Literally all night long, I've been woken up last night. Hundreds of earthquakes have hit here in southern Mexico. Hundreds, guys. Not even the European agency has kept up with the earthquakes that hit here in southern Mexico. Like I said, hundreds of earthquakes have hit. Okay? Now, the EMSC map that I have here, let me show you here. They only show 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. They only show 42 earthquakes here. Actually, now it's 50 earthquakes. They're showing 50 earthquakes. Okay. Let's bring up our webcam and I'll show you this map that the EMSC has put out there, okay? Right here. They now show 50 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. That area here stretches south of Puerto Vallarta to the north, all the way down to the northern border with Guatemala here to the south. 50 earthquakes here. The great majority of the earthquakes are here in southern Mexico, right here. Right here. And the EMSC is not even covering them all. Not covering them all at all. Hundreds of earthquakes they hit here. Earthquakes 4.5, 4.7, 4.8 earthquakes all night long. Literally all night long, my device kept going off. Yes, I could have shut the dings off, but I didn't. I want to know what's going on because there were so many of them. They continued, guys. They continued. Now, this one, for example, was a 4.1 earthquake here. 4.1 moderate earthquake. 4.0, 4.9 are moderate earthquakes. We had 4.6s, 4.7s, and 4.8s. That was a 4.1 here. Okay? Up here to the north. Ciba Point Bonita, Veracruz, Mexico. 4.1 earthquake up here in southern Mexico near Honduras. Okay? That's 4.1 there. Now, here's one that happened offshore Oaxaca, Mexico, right next to the coastline. This is a 4.4 earthquake here. Like I said, these earthquakes kept hitting all night long. Most of these earthquakes are 3.0, 3.9 in nature. 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes are small earthquakes. They don't do much damage, but the moderate earthquakes do. The moderate earthquakes do damage, guys. That's why I want to talk about this. That's exactly why I want to talk about this. Because USGS is not showing anything going on at all. Not showing anything at all going on. That's a fallacy. Fallacies are lies, guys. Fallacies are lies here. Okay? 50 earthquakes here. 50 earthquakes going on. Now, going up towards Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico, 2.8 minor earthquake. Now, this swarm right here, I'm going to talk about right here. I'm going to give you the magnitude strengths of these earthquakes. That's a 2.8, just south of 2.9, 3.0, 3.4, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4 near the shoreline, near a resort area here in southern Mexico, Manzanillo. Further south, Zihuatanejo. Zihuatanejo, a 3.0 earthquake there. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake right there. Zihuatanejo, another Mexican resort there. Okay? 3.2, 3.5, 2.9, 3.0, 3.3 offshore. What is that fault line offshore, guys? Can anybody tell me what that fault line is offshore? Right here? That is the San Andres Fault, guys. All the way down here to southern Mexico, the San Andres Fault. That's where this earthquake hit. the southern San Andreas Fault off the coast of southern Mexico. Okay? Further south here, Los Pugos, Guerrero, Mexico, 2.7. 3.1, right next to it, to the north. Further south, 3.2, 2.5, 2.5, San Marcos, Guerrero, Mexico. Further to the south, 2.9, going back down to the coastline, near the coastline. Pires, Mexico, 3.3, 3.5, 3.2, 3.2, 3.8. .0 moderate earthquake. 3.3 small earthquake. Again, 3.0, 3.9 or small earthquakes. Okay? Over here in this swarm of earthquakes here, that is a 3.6. 3.6, 3.4. Further to the south, a 4.0 earthquake. 4.0 earthquake there. 3.4. 3.7, 3.2, 3.3, 2.3 minor earthquake. Over here in Oaxaca, Mexico, 4.4 earthquake here. 3.6 offshore. 3.7, 3.7, 4.1 offshore. West of that, another 4.2 moderate earthquake here. Like I said, all night long we got bombarded with 4-point earthquakes. 4.0, 4.8 earthquakes kept hitting all night long. They don't show them all here, naturally. Go figure. Further to the south, here's a 3.6 earthquake here. Offshore, 4.2. Chiapas, Mexico. Chiapas is the location where most of those 4-pointers hit last night. Chiapas, Mexico. Again, they're not even showing all of them. Okay, here's another 3.8 in that same location. Onshore, Palestina de los Altos, 2.8, Guatemala. This over in Guatemala here. Okay, that's where they hit. Now, I want to go over here to the South Pacific. The South Pacific. USGS not showing any earthquakes here. They're only showing one earthquake here in Australia. I didn't think they would even show this. They didn't earlier. This is a 4.5 earthquake here in southeastern Australia. Canawindra, Australia, 4.5 moderate earthquake here. We don't see moderate earthquakes here very often. 4.5 earthquake here in southeastern Australia. But they're not showing anything over here on the southwest side. Guess what? We have a 1.6 tremor over here in South Boulder, Western Australia. 1.8 tremor here. 1.8 tremor here. USGS not showing anything there at all. Okay? Now I want to go over here to the east. USGS not showing anything here in New Zealand. Look at this. All kinds of earthquakes, both on the North and the South Island here in New Zealand. I have friends here. We have friends of our channel here in New Zealand. Earthquakes are hitting. They're hitting everywhere. They're literally hitting everywhere. And USGS doesn't care because USGS isn't showing them at all. None. Not one of them. Not one of them. Down south, here's a 2.75 earthquake here. Southwestern New Zealand. Southwest New Zealand here. That's a 2.75 minor earthquake. Up to the north, 2.943 points earthquake there. Right beside it, this is a 3.13 earthquake there. 3.13 small earthquake. North Central New Zealand, South Island. Karangaruana, New Zealand, 3.28 earthquake. To the north. Now this is on, guys. This earthquake is on the Tonga Trench. The Tonga Trench. The Tonga Trench runs from Tonga all the way down the east side of Australia, New Zealand here, down the east side of New Zealand, all the way down here until it cuts through the South Island here. Cuts through the South Island. That's where we have this 3.05 earthquake there. This is still on the Tonga Trench here. The Tonga Trench, 3.05 small earthquake. That earthquake is 4.2 miles deep. 4.2 miles deep. Further up here to the north on the east side of the island, here's a 2.25 earthquake there. Okay? Still here on the South Island. Wangwamoa, New Zealand, 3.1 earthquake there. Down to the southwest, Tapawera, New Zealand, 2.73 earthquake here. Those are all the earthquakes on the South Island. 7 of them. 7 earthquakes on the South Island. But the North Island, guys, this is where it gets interesting. Look at all the earthquakes here on the North Island. Even more interesting, right here, the center of the North Island. The center of the North Island is Topol Volcano, Topol Lake. Here in the middle of Topol Volcano, we have a 2.41 earthquake. 2.41 minor earthquake here in Topol Volcano. Topol Volcano was alive and well. Topol Volcano was a super volcano here. We've been talking about Topol Volcano for quite some time. Super volcano, guys. Unreal. Southeast of the super volcano, we have a 3.57 small earthquake there. To the northwest, we have a 2.62 earthquake there. Further to the northwest, we have a 2.8 here, right there. Then over here in the Gulf, in the Bay of Plenty, this looks like a catcher's mitt. Looks like a catcher's mitt here. There's earthquakes there, guys. There's earthquakes here in the catcher's mitt. Okay? Off to the northwest here. Off to the northwest. This is north of Auckland, New Zealand. North of Auckland, New Zealand, this is a 2.8 earthquake. 2.8 minor earthquake here in the ocean. Further south, this is a 3.77 small earthquake. Mid-range 3.77 small earthquake right there. Okay? Then going into the center part of the catchment, the center part of the Bay of Plenty. This is a 2.66. South there, this is on the Fiji Trench. The Fiji Trench runs south of Fiji, goes through the North Island, and then out the other side to the east. The Fiji Trench. This is a 2.71 earthquake here. Going to the north, 3.05 earthquake here, 3.05 small quake. Down in the south, 2.31, 2.44, and 2.25 right there. 3 earthquakes, we have 3 twos right there. To the north, this is a 2.99, 3.0 earthquake there. Then going back to the Fiji Trench here, 2 earthquakes side by side, 3.51 and a 3.88 earthquake right there. The Bay of Plenty here, guys. The Bay of Plenty here. Then we go north here. We go north. We have no earthquakes at all in the Kermadec Trench, in the Kermadec Island region. We have no earthquakes here in Tonga. No earthquakes at all here in Tonga, but in the Fiji region, we have 1 earthquake. 1 earthquake here. This is 4.6 moderate earthquake. 4.6 moderate earthquake. This looks like Fiji, but it's actually 95 miles west of Niafa, Tonga. 95 miles west of Niafa, Tonga, we have a 4.6 moderate earthquake there. 4.6 moderate earthquake there. Now that's all fine and good. That's all fine and good. Guess what? This earthquake is just a very shallow earthquake. Only 136 miles deep. Shallow earthquake. It's not going to do anything. When we have earthquakes that are very, very deep, they cause baby earthquakes. I shouldn't say even baby earthquakes. They propagate larger, shallower quakes. They propagate or birth larger, shallower quakes. This is not going to do that today. This earthquake is a shallow earthquake, 135 miles deep. Very shallow earthquake. Still. Okay? Now, they're not showing anything else but over here in the Solomon Islands near Papua New Guinea. Not showing much of anything going on. That's unreal, guys. That's unreal. Because there's an earthquake over here in Vanuatu. There's an earthquake over here in Vanuatu, guys. Right here. Right here in Vanuatu. Baylap, Vanuatu. This is a 3.3 earthquake right there. 3.3 earthquake in Baylap, Vanuatu. That is the smallest earthquake that I've seen in Vanuatu in the past 7 years that I've been doing this show. Going over to Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea. Kandrian, Papua New Guinea. This is just barely offshore. This is just barely offshore of Kandrian, Papua New Guinea. 4.6 earthquake right there. 4.6 earthquake right there. Small earthquake. Small earthquake. They happen. They happen. 4.6 moderate earthquake right there. Now, they don't show anything else here. They're wrong. They're wrong. The EMSC are showing earthquakes here in Papua, Indonesia. Papua, Indonesia. Okay? Let me show you this. Right here in Papua, Indonesia. To the west of this white line here. Papua, Indonesia. 2.5 minor earthquake there. To the north here, 4.1 earthquake there, 4.1 moderate earthquake there. And one more here to the north. Offshore, 3.5 earthquake there. 3.5 earthquake right there. Just offshore. One more over here to the west, two more over here to the west. Let me move this map here. Let me make this webcam smaller here. Okay. Right here in this Bay Area right here. This scene right there. We have a 3.94.0 earthquake right there. 3.94.0 earthquake right there. USGS not showing it. Not good enough. Not big enough, apparently. Yes, they do show earthquakes, but not big enough this time. Insane. Insane. Now, I want to go over here to Saipan. Saipan. Okay. Here in Saipan, guys, guess what? We had a cotton picking typhoon rip here through here yesterday. Winds upwards of 95 miles an hour. 95 miles an hour ripped through these islands here. Now, I don't have any reports of damage, and I don't have any reports of casualties, but there are. There are. This area of the world is by far broken down. Broken down. Communities do exist here, but these people don't have any money. They're impoverished. They live on maybe $200 or $300 a year. A year. They got taken apart by a cyclone yesterday. Totally ruined. Totally, completely ruined. Sad day. Sad day. Now look at this. USGS shows no earthquakes at all in Indonesia at all. They don't show any earthquakes at all here in Indonesia. Look at this. 72 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 72 earthquakes here. USGS doesn't show any at all. Nothing. Not a thing. Not nothing. Going up into the Philippines now. Morganton, Philippines, northeastern Philippines on Mindanao Island. Mindanao Island is the largest island here in the Philippines. Mindanao, Philippines. Right here. Over here on the northeastern side of Mindanao, Philippines, Morganton. We have a 3.7 earthquake right there. 3.7. Offshore here in the Philippine Sea, on the earthquake fault, the edge of the plate here, we have a 3.2 earthquake here. 3.2 earthquake here. North there, this time Central Philippines. This is a 3.0 earthquake there. North there, Northern Philippines. 51 miles east of Palawan, Philippines. 3.1 earthquake there. USGS not showing one earthquake, not one. Not one. The last earthquake I showed you, that 3.1, was right there. Right there, offshore, on the edge of the plate there. On the edge of the plate right there. 3.1 earthquake. Okay. Then on the east side of Luzon, Philippines. The east side of Luzon, Philippines here. Right there. The southeast side right here. This is a 3.5 earthquake right there. Offshore. 3.5 small earthquake. Nobody felt that earthquake. The ocean waters of the Philippine Sea absorbed the shock waves from this quake. Going north, just south of Taiwan. South of Taiwan here, we have a 4.68 earthquake here. 4.68 earthquake here. USGS not showing not any one, nothing. South of there, we have a 3.0 small earthquake. So we have a moderate 4.6, a 3.0 small earthquake right there, just south of Taiwan. South of Taiwan there. Interesting. USGS didn't show a squat. Not nothing. Not nothing. Now, let's go north. USGS showing one earthquake on the northeast side of Japan, off of Honshu, Japan. Let's go down here to the south. 2 earthquakes here in Kyoto, Japan. 2 earthquakes. The first one here is offshore, adjacent to the Sea of Tokara Islands. Adjacent to the Sea of Tokara Islands. This is a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake here. Then to the north. To the north. Amakusa, Kunamoto, Japan. Amakusa, Kumamoto, Japan. Right here. We have a 2.6 earthquake right there. 2.6 earthquake right there. USGS not showing it. Interesting. Fascinating, they're not showing it. Then right here, Takayama, Japan. Actually, it's called Takayama Gifu, Japan. 4.6 earthquake here. 4.6 earthquake there. Then we go over here to off of Honshu, Japan here. They show one earthquake. USGS is showing a 4.4 earthquake. That's interesting. There's also a 3.6 earthquake there as well. There's also a 3.6 earthquake here as well. They show one earthquake when we are showing 7. We're showing 7 earthquakes here. Then over here near north of Hokkaido here in the Kuril Islands. Kuril Islands, guys, they're showing one earthquake here. 4.5 earthquake here. Interesting. The Kuril Islands belong to Russia. They belong to Russia. North of there, up here, still in the Kuril Islands, northern Kuril Islands here, just south of Kamchatka Peninsula. There's another earthquake here. This is a 4.7 earthquake here. 4.7 moderate earthquake here. Now these are far enough away from any island where no one was even felt earthquakes. The Kuril Islands, for the most part, don't even have people on the islands at all. Nobody feels these earthquakes at all. These are the only earthquakes that they're showing here around Kamchatka Peninsula. That's all fine and good. That's all fine and good. What happened here today in the Aleutian Islands here? Western Aleutian Islands here. We're showing a 4.7 earthquake here. That's interesting. 4.7 earthquake here. Here's the 3.2 small earthquake. This is a 3.7. Guess what? They are missing an earthquake. They're missing an earthquake, and it is a large 5.2 earthquake. They're missing a large 5.2 earthquake here. Let me show you. Right there. This is a large 5.2 earthquake here, southeast of Attu Station, Alaska. South of Attu Station, Alaska, guys. Interesting. Large 5.2 earthquake. They're not showing it. Why not? Why not? Guys, this is Attu Station right here. We showed this to you 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. We had earthquakes down here to the south right here. These are aftershocks of a 6.6 earthquake here 3 weeks ago. We are still having aftershocks now. We're still having aftershocks now. Again, this they're saying is a 4.7. The Europeans are saying there's a 5.2 large earthquake right there. Not a 4.7, but a 5.2. USGS is not showing it. Along with two more aftershocks, one being a 3.2, one being a 3.7 here. Interesting. Very interesting. But no cigar. Going over here to Atka, Alaska area. Atka, Alaska here. We have a 2.6 earthquake right there. This is a 0.6 microquake here. 93 miles west of Adak, Alaska. This is a 2.7 earthquake here. 88 miles west-southwest of Atka. This is a 2.4, 48 miles southwest of Atka. This is a 3.2 earthquake here. 3.2 small earthquake there. None of these earthquakes are near any of the islands. None anywhere near these islands here. No one affected at all. No one affected at all. Then we go through the rest of the Aleutian Islands here. We have some tremors. We have some tremors such as this right here. 3.5 small earthquake. 3.8 earthquake here. 2.8 earthquake here. 2.6 earthquake here in Unalaska. South of Unalaska here. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. Then over here on the island, southwest of the volcano. Southwest of the volcano here. This is a minus 0.2 microquake. Minus 0.2 microquake. Just barely in the hills here. On the island here, right next to the volcano there. Offshore. This is a 0.1 microquake. This is a surface quake apparently on the bottom of the ocean here, but it's not a surface quake at all. This happens to be 5.6 miles deep. Not a surface quake at all. It's 5.6 miles deep in the ocean, underneath the ocean. Not a surface quake at all. 0.1 microquake, 0.6 microquake. This is a 0.2 microquake here. Dutch Harbor, Alaska. They call this Dutch Harbor, Alaska here. Okay. Down further south in the Aleutian Island chain here. Right here. 2.2 earthquake here. Here's another 2.6 earthquake here. Okay. We go northeast here. 3.2 earthquake here, south of Sandpoint, Alaska. Now, guys, this may be an aftershock. This earthquake may be an aftershock. Why? Sandpoint, Alaska here, this exact same location, we had a 7.7, 8.7 earthquake here 3 years ago. 3 years ago, there was a 3-foot tsunami, 36-inch tsunami here, Sandpoint, Alaska. When these 7.7, 8.7 earthquakes hit 3 years ago. Further north here, this is closer to Perryville. We've also had a 7.5 earthquake south of Perryville here. This is closer to Perryville here. 17 miles east-southeast of Perryville. 3.1 small earthquake here. This is a 2.0 earthquake here near Aveyah Bay, Alaska. And right next to it right here is 1.8 tremor. Right here. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Okay. We have other earthquakes and tremors here. Nothing really negligible at all. Nothing anywhere near Anchorage. Nothing anywhere near Anchorage except maybe this one here, which is only 1.9 tremor here. 1.9, 2.0 tremor here in the Cook Inlet here. The Cook Inlet here. Very little, if anything, has happened here in Alaska at all. Today, here in the Arctic Circle here, to the north. This is a 2.6 earthquake here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the town. It's a Russian name. ANAKTUVUK, Alaska. And Tuvik, Alaska, maybe. And Tuvik, Alaska. ANAKTUV, UK, Alaska. Up further north here, along the Arctic Circle here in Alaska. That's all. I only have one other earthquake I want to talk about. This is in northeastern Canada today, right here. This is a 4.0 moderate earthquake here in Canada. 4.0 moderate earthquake here. 12 miles northeast of Shawville, Canada. 12 miles northeast of Shawville, Canada. Moderate 4.0 earthquake here. Interesting. Interesting. Does anybody have any questions for me? Any questions? Actually, one other earthquake here south of Africa. South of Africa here. This is on the Antarctic Ridge here in the Indian Ocean. This is a large, very large 5.7 earthquake here. Very large 5.7 earthquake here south of Africa on the Antarctic Ridge. Okay. We'll see where this earthquake goes. It can either go southwest or southeast on the Antarctic Ridge. See where it goes. Could go in the Indian Ocean or could go over here in the Atlantic. We don't know yet. Don't know yet. Any questions here? Any questions, guys? I want to thank everybody for tuning in to our program tonight. I really appreciate it. I was going to go on the program last night, because that 5.7 earthquake in Nevada, there are no injuries and very little damage. Very little light, moderate damage at all. No big deal. If it had been a large earthquake, I would have come on the air about it. Now that typhoon down in Saipan, Southeast Asia, bad hurricane type storm. 95 miles an hour, tore apart those little towns and shanties in Saipan, Southeast Asia. Very sad day for those people there. As more information becomes available about that, I'll pass it on to you as well. Now, guys, we come to the end of our program tonight. I want to share a couple scriptures with you. Okay? Again, I'm going into 1 Corinthians chapter 2 tonight. Chapter 2, starting with verse 5. That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. We've talked a lot about getting our testimonies together, making sure we recognize the testimony of Jesus Christ, and also making sure we pass it on and share our testimonies far and wide with our family members and our friends and neighbors. Share our faith. Share our faith, ladies and gentlemen. But in verses 10 and 11 here, verses 10 and 11, this is where it gets really dicey here. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. In verse 9, but as it is written, eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God had prepared for them that love him. All of us. God has prepared personal revelation for each one of us. He's prepared great things for us. Mansion in his heavens. Mansion in his heaven. Okay? In verse 10, but God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. Verse 11, for what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. The things of God knoweth no man, but through the Spirit of God. Guys, I have a testimony of this. Each one of us can receive personal revelation from God. But first, we must receive the Spirit of God, the Holy Ghost. I ask each of you to diligently seek in your hearts, read the scriptures and find out for yourself what we're teaching you is true or not. If it is true, then you have a responsibility to do something about it. Read the scriptures so you know the will of God in your own life. Read the scriptures so you'll know the will of God in your own life, then follow it. Make covenants with God. If you don't quite know how to do that, talk to me. Call me. Send me an email, and I'll get back with you. Send me an email, and I will get back with you and share with you my testimony and share with you other scriptures that will help you get informed of the will of God for your life. May God bless you. May God protect you this day and always. Brothers and sisters, he loves you. I love you. Karen and I both love you. We want just the best for you. Best for you and your family. Search it out with God. Find out what he wants you to do himself. May God bless you to that end. May God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again tomorrow evening, sometime after 4 p.m. tomorrow evening, Wednesday evening. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, everyone. God bless. See you soon. Good night.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard, So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.